everybody! Welcome to the Turtle and the Bear podcast. I'm Turtle.
And I'm Bear. And today we are talking about what happens next with your being diagnosed with ADHD.
This is episode 3.
Right.
So, as I mentioned in the second episode, thank you. I was recently diagnosed in April of this year, and I've been on medication since then. I'm taking Vyvanse.
And that seems to be doing really well for you.
It does. It is working.
I don't, if you were listening to the last episode, I don't have any medications. I'm not legally, I'm not technically diagnosed, even though it's 100% I have it. I've taken the tests online, but I have not actually gone to a doctor to get diagnosed.
Well, the tests online are basically what I did. So
I have all the symptoms and then some.
Yeah. So if you guys are ever wondering if you have it, just talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Whether it be a therapist or a psychiatrist.
Worst case scenario, you don't have
your
it.
Family
Good for
doctor. Or you can just do one of the online tests. But the good thing about going to a doctor is then they can give you a medication.
Yeah. If you're looking for a solution.
Yes. And you might have to try multiple medications till you find one that works. I was extremely lucky.
You were for the first medication you got.
Like the first time, and I just needed to increase the dosage a little bit. So I am very thankful and I'm so grateful that I didn't have to try a bunch of medication.
Yeah.
But it is okay if you have to go through a few trials.
Normal. Medication goes really well with your biology and your chemistry.
Yeah.
And so everybody's biology and chemistry is different.
Yep.
So
whether it be ever so slightly
are going to react
completely
different to you. And that's typical. So if your medication, if Vyvanse per se doesn't work for you, don't freak out. It might not work for you, but something else might.
What you're going to do is go to your doctor and say, hey, this isn't working for me. It's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Communication is the best thing to get you on track with your medication.
Yes. Hyperfixations. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
In the last episode.
What is a hyperfixation? Hyperfixation is a complete obsession or absorption with a particular task or a hobby or a TV show, something that gives your brain an interest.
Yes.
People who often hyperfixate can tune out the world for hours on end.
Yeah.
Me personally, some of my hyperfixations are drawing. Stardew Valley. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Stardew Valley is one of my biggest right now.
I introduced Bear to Stardew Valley. Was it at the beginning of this year? I think so.
It was like midsummer, I think, or something like that.
And I went, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, oh, pretty.
She has kind of caught up to me in the amount of hours played.
I have done all-nighters because of hyperfixation.
It is a very easy game.
On my first farm of Stardew Valley, I did all-nighters multiple times. And
I remember...
I was like, oh, God.
I remember sometimes I'll be playing Stardew and I'll be playing it for 6 hours. And obviously I'll go to the bathroom and I'll eat. But then I'll go, I'm going to go play more.
I want more of this.
I want more. So for me, I also really like coloring. It comes and goes for me on that one. I enjoy coloring. It's very therapeutic. It's very calming. I enjoy using crayons or pencil crayons.
My preference is markers.
Yes, but you'll use crayons.
I'll use basically whatever, but
if it's there, you'll use it. I also enjoy crocheting. And crocheting is both a hyperfixation and a coping mechanism at the same time.
Journaling actually was one of my hyperfixations for the longest time. And it wasn't even just therapeutic journaling, because I originally did get into journaling about my therapy and my past, but it eventually evolved into a hyperfixation where I just was journaling about what I was thinking. So my journals would be completely just word vomit, basically.
Yeah.
What I did for the day, I woke up, I did this, and like something hyperfixated in me, and it was just like, oh, I'm getting dopamine from this.
Yeah.
And with ADHD, that is what hyperfixation is you are often following the dopamine.
Yeah.
And that can stop randomly. It happens with food too.
It does. I remember, I think it happened recently. It was with chicken wings. I still love them. It's honey garlic chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. But I had it recently.
And it just wasn't the same.
It was good, but my brain was like, this is icky.
I did that with peanut butter and jam sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
I love peanut butter. Personally, I can't get enough of it. But I've recently hyperfixated on it to the point where I was eating it out of the jar. And it's good if you're on a low carb diet, you can have 1 spoon and it's good protein, no carb. But I got over that hyperfixation and I went and made a sandwich and I gave most of it to the dog. Because I was like,
goodness.
It doesn't even taste good right now. And
Yeah.
it made me very sad because I love peanut butter so much. But
for me, I'm on a bit of I didn't have one today, but recently I've been having a scrambled egg sandwich with specifically like a bagel or a hamburger bun that I got from Costco, and they're both gluten-free. And it's just so tasty. And I put some cheese, like I put a slice of cheese on it, and it's just so tasty. But I didn't have that today because I'm trying to be careful to not exhaust myself from it. But even if you don't have a food every day, if you have it frequently enough, like with
Big
the chicken
Macs.
wings,
Big Macs for me were that too.
Yeah, it'll come back. It might take a couple months, but it will come back.
I haven't been turned off of a Big Mac yet.
And it's sad.
But there are days where it tastes so much better. And that is the ADHD and the dopamine kicking in saying, ooh, we like this.
Yeah. For me, TV shows I can definitely get hyperfixated on. And I'll binge
I did that with The
entire
Rookie
series.
I watched 5 seasons within like a week.
Oh my god.
I was so sad when it was over.
Okay, I'm not that bad. Well, again, 2 different types of ADHD.
You have a normal sleep schedule. I do not. So
I've finally fixed. Well, again, that's
I can't
with the autism.
I'm just
I need the schedule kind of,
and a mix of insomnia and the fact that my whole family is basically night owls. Like my grandparents are, and I've always kind of been a night owl, and I'm not mad about
it. Okay, I know Ducky and I for a couple of weeks we kind of went through a night owl phase.
Yes.
Where we were up really late.
You were up at like 3 o'clock and texting me, and I was like, what are you doing awake? I get in crap from my brother. He works morning shifts. So he starts work at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And he's done by like 12. And he will send me something on like Instagram and I'll reply and react back to him. He messages me back, why are you awake? And he gives me crap. And I'm like, I can't sleep? ?
I had a period of time where it was when we were in the night owl phase and I couldn't sleep. So there's no point. I cleaned the baseboards and on the main floor of the house.
Myself, I did that. I would clean in the middle of the night.
Well,
that's when you get the urge. At least for me.
It annoys me so much.
It does.
I'll be lying in bed and I'll be exhausted. All of a sudden, I'll get this overwhelming need to vacuum.
And it won't go away.
But I can't because it's 1 a.m.
And your husband works the next day.
And my husband works the next day and we have neighbors.
See, I wouldn't care so much. So, like, your vacuum, I guess, is louder, but my vacuum isn't. So if I was in your house instead of an apartment building, I definitely would vacuum in the middle of the night. But I'm in an apartment building where the walls are stupid thin.
Yeah.
You can hear someone sneeze.
That's bad.
It's so bad. Honest to God, you can hear them doing other things too. But when Chicken and I lived on our own, he's a heavy sleeper, so I could clean, I could do the dishes in the middle of the night and it wouldn't bug anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But now we live with my mom. She's a super light sleeper.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can't. And so I end up just binging Stardew Valley overnight.
Yeah.
Or playing a game on my phone, or
Yeah.
like hyper fixating on like one YouTuber, and it's interesting to do.
Yeah. Well, I discovered that when I'm stressed, I have difficulties sharing a bed with someone.
See,
So
I'm the
then-
opposite.
So then Ducky and he's been sleeping in the spare bedroom
Mm-hmm.
for a little while because there would be some nights where I would only get 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So we would go to bed together,
Mm-hmm.
and I would roll around, and I would get really frustrated because he's sound asleep within like 2 minutes.
I want to smother him with a pillow when he does that.
Within 2 minutes. But then, so I get frustrated that I'm not asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't want to move around because he's asleep. And
I don't want to bug him.
And I don't want to bug him.
I do the same thing.
And then sometimes I would end up crying because I'm so frustrated that I can't sleep.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I do the same thing. I feel bad about rolling around and bugging him, and I have a very sassy dog.
Yeah.
And if I roll around too much, he will physically huff at me and grumble that I woke the poor princess up.
Unfortunately, insomnia is a part of ADHD.
Yes.
And
also other mental health diagnoses that we have.
Yes.
But
so it wasn't so bad, but I think now that I'm medicated for it, it's more like, hey, or maybe it's because my brain's I'm
you're more aware of it.
I'm aware of it. So I am dealing with the symptoms a little bit more.
Yeah. Because, like, personally, I've got a slew of... I've got the alphabet of diagnoses, basically.
Yeah.
And insomnia is one of those common denominators for all of them. So we will be talking later that I do have something called BPD.
Mm-hmm.
And it and ADHD kind of do go in hand, kind of like autism and ADHD.
Yeah.
But my doctor listed some of these symptoms, and I'm like, well, I have those too, but I just associated them with ADHD instead of BPD.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, sometimes actually it's you don't have ADHD, you just have BPD. And I'm like, well, I definitely know I have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that. My dad has it. All of the men on my side of the family have it, but I think my aunt might actually have it too, but she wasn't diagnosed.
Yeah.
So, because like we said in the last episode, women's ADHD isn't studied as often as men.
It's starting to get studied more now.
Yes.
And it has been for the last, I think, 20 years at least.
Oh, yeah. It's been the 90s, so 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, roughly 30.
Yeah, okay.
So, I definitely know I have ADHD.
Yeah.
But we will definitely go into depth more about our different mental health disorders that we have. Go into the alphabet as per se.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we just...
And another thing, if you don't understand your ADHD yet, that is completely okay.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to understand mine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and as I said, I've only known about it and had confirmation for not even a year.
Well, and with you having inattentive ADHD compared to hyperactive, which is more studied and more what you associate ADHD with, it's more you are having these light bulb situations where you're like, oh, this is ADHD. I didn't realize that. I have that too, but because of having male ADHD in my family, I kind of understand ADHD a lot.
Yeah.
And early on, I understood that I did have it.
Yeah.
I understood what happened with my brain, like why I was doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as much of a light bulb situation. It won't be if I do actually go and get physically diagnosed. It'll just be something I can add to my resume
and the alphabet
Mm-hmm.
of your diagnosis.
Yeah. For you, has helped you with controlling your ADHD? Like, I know you have medication.
Yeah.
But is there anything in your personal life that you do that helps you be kind of normal?
So I started taking more vitamins at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And I find I'm more likely to take them if every week I put them in like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday pill box.
Pill box. Yeah, see,
And it's really funny.
tried that.
It's a tiny little box, and I shove so many different kinds in this tiny. I might have to get a bigger one at some point. Yeah. But for now, this works.
My sister-in-law has the whole month.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd use it for like 2 weeks and then be like, I'm not refilling this.
I find that, again, it's the autism as well. But sometimes I do fall off.
Sister-in-law's autistic too.
I do fall off and don't take my medications.
Yeah.
Or not my medications.
You take the important medications. The vitamins are the ones that you sometimes
I forget to take my vitamins. Which
and
is
then
not
your body
good.
yells at you.
Yes, because some of them I do need to take to help prevent other physical things.
For preventative measures.
Preventative measures.
Yeah.
And I think just doing that kind of helps a little bit. Also, writing lists. I have a little whiteboard. And what I do is I write the to-do, and I have a couple different sections on it. And it's things that I need to do. Some of them are every day. Some of them are weekly. And then I have a section that is, this needs to be done as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah.
So
you give yourself kind of different timelines.
But then I also have the additional stuff. So dishes would be an everyday one. Cleaning my mouth guard is a weekly one.
Laundry is a weekly
one.
Or bi-weekly, depending on
whenever for me, I do laundry when the basket is full. Because if it gets too much, I am less likely to do it because it's very overwhelming.
Very overwhelming.
I think laundry is a unified hate of most ADHD people. Yeah.
Well,
it seems every person that I've talked to that has ADHD or even online, and all I've seen is, I hate laundry. I hate folding. It's not the actual washing and putting into the dryer that we hate. It's the folding. Because
the amount of energy it actually takes.
Yes.
The brain power.
So I find that if I do a small load or like multiple small loads, because there'll be different types of laundry. There'll be my laundry, Ducky's laundry, bedding, towels, that type of laundry. So if I do different sections, then I can just do them at different times. Sometimes my laundry will sit in the laundry basket for 2 weeks. That's the longest one that it's been.
Me, I am definitely all or nothing ADHD. So I have alarms. So if I set an alarm, I'm going to do, specifically with laundry, I have to set an alarm or I will forget. And it'll sit in there forever. But if I'm cleaning, I clean until my alarm goes off. Yeah. And then I'm done. Because if I don't, I will clean all day and I will be burnt out for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I have to. For me, I don't do times. I do like tasks. So I go, okay, there's a lot of dishes. So I'm going to do all of those dishes. And then I'm going to wipe the counters down and the table down. And then I'm going to sit down for 20 minutes.
See, if I sit down, I lose it. I lose all motivation to get up and clean again. And then I doom scroll and it's just a void.
Well, or I don't sit down. I sit on the floor and I do stretches with my phone away from me because then the phone's not near me and I'm doing stretches. And then I reevaluate 15, 20 minutes later, see how I'm feeling. And then if I feel, oh, I can actually sweep the floor too, then I sweep the floor as well. It's all about listening to your body and your mind.
But with ADHD, it's difficult to do that.
It is, and I'm trying to get better at that. It's something you have to
harness. It doesn't happen overnight. No. But yeah, we will definitely go into depth more. What is next episode about? Do you remember?
Next episode is about being introverts
Oh,
with
right.
ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD introverts.
Yeah.
So we will definitely go into depth about that. And we have social media. If you haven't followed us already, we are on Facebook. All of our links are on Facebook as well. It's The Turtle and the Bear. And we post on Spotify and on YouTube, and it's a bi-weekly schedule that we are on.
Yes. And please subscribe to both of those.
It helps a lot.
It does. And thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.